All right. I think we're live. I think we're going now. So let's get into it. Before I get into answering the comments or responding to comments or the questions, I should say, or the chat, the live chat. There we go. That I got it out. Before I get into that, let's get the normal disclosures that I normally do out of the way. And again, this is Chris. This is Slightly Redneck channel. This is a live broadcast I do pretty much every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock Central. Sometimes I can't make it, but usually I'm here 7 o'clock Central Thursday evenings. And I don't have a topic planned out. This is kind of a ask me anything you want to ask me. We'll talk about pretty much anything you want to talk about. The only thing I ask is that you be polite, be family friendly. Don't start calling people names, be hateful, cussing at us, any of those kinds of things. We'll have to kick you out. And hang on, I got a phone call coming in. Oh, it's a... Hang on just a second. Sorry. It's not a super important one right now. I'll get back to it. Give me a second. Sorry, hang on just 1 second. There we go. So I don't know where I was. Where was I? I can't remember now. Anyway, you get the idea. Don't be hateful. Be polite. Be friendly. I do my best to respond to all the chats that come in during the live chat itself. And unless you're talking to each other, you guys can talk to each other. Post, other YouTube channel stuff here. I don't care. We'll any of that stuff's fine with me. So, hey, good evening, Verna. Good to see you. Justin, good to see you from Northern Ohio, or no, Northern Iowa, sorry. Got a new doe. She's young and in charge and hope to breed her soon. Well, good luck with that. And congratulations on the new doe. And Linda says, great news. Eggs that you sent me have been hatching like popcorn today in the incubator on the 6th. And the first chick hatched about 11 p.m. last night. How long can they wait in the incubator? And then it says MA2. I don't know what that means. I don't know who sent you eggs exactly, because I didn't send out any eggs, but I'm glad to hear that they're hatching. How long can they wait in the incubator? You can go up to 36 hours in the incubator. I usually try to actually go up to 48 really, but I try to pull them out after about 24 hours usually. Make sure they're all dry and fluffy, but they can stay in there quite a while. They could probably go longer than 48 hours if you needed to. But I try to pull them out after about 24 hours usually. All the ones that are dry and fluffy at that point, they all come out of the incubator. Any of them that are still kind of wet and not dried off stay in the incubator. And of course, any of the eggs that haven't hatched stay in the incubator. Get them out, fairly quickly. I mean, don't rush to where you hurt any of them, but move them out fairly quickly. Close it back up. Let the rest of them give them a chance to hatch out. So good luck. I hope the rest of them do hatch, and congratulations on your hatch. Hey, Jasmine, good to see you. Says, hello, Chris and friends. Hope all is well. We're super icy here, making animal chores a real chore. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. We're very icy here as well. And yeah, we had, I'm sure you got the same thing. You're talking to each other here. I usually skip those, but you're saying to Justin, because he's saying, get the fresh snow on top. It's worse. She says, oh, don't I know it? We got sleet on top of ice, but yes, the snow on the sheet of ice is deceiving and dangerous. Yuck. Yeah, we had, I think you guys probably got it a little bit worse than we did where you're at, Jasmine. But yeah, we had a lot of sleet coming down yesterday. It was pretty much all yesterday. So a little bit this morning, not much this morning. But yeah, it's very cold out right now. That's for sure. 70 degrees like 4 days ago. And then 2 days later, bottom drops out, sleet, ice, all that good stuff coming. All right. Jamming Mike says, hey, all. Hello to you. And Verna says, I'm back. Well, good. I didn't know you'd left, but glad to have you back. Ron likes my ringtone. Yeah, that's a good one. What is my ringtone? I think it's Stevie Wonder, isn't it? Higher Ground, I believe, is my ringtone. Jesse says, good evening to everyone from snowy Iowa. Yeah, we're all snowy right now. Happy Thursday to you too, Tracy. Hello, Little Ridge Farm. And Verna says, hey, Jesse, Jasmine. Okay, you're talking to other people. Hello to you, Jeff. Good to see you. And Winston says, hello, everyone. Greetings from Suriname. I'm not sure where that is, but thanks for joining us from there. Verna says, hey, Chris, I did the balut challenge. Yeah, I saw that. I haven't got a chance to watch the video. I need to get in there and do that, but I'm not sure I want to either. I don't know. Baloot's one of those things that I'm just not. I don't think I'm willing to try. It's kind of, I don't know about that. But hey, I'm glad you did it. Hope you liked it. Justin says, "Hey, Seeds, why does mine get long and skinny and die? Light, not enough light. That's the key to getting seed. What they call that is leggy. So you'll see plants get leggy. They get long, tall. They're reaching for the light, and then they fall over and they can't support themselves and they end up dying. So you need to get some light on them. It doesn't necessarily have to be a special kind of light. You don't have to do grow lights. Grow lights can get kind of expensive, although they've come down a lot in price over the last couple of years. You can see my shelf behind me here. I've got, right there, I've got 2 shop lights hanging, and if you're going to do that way, that's fairly cheap. They're only like 10, 12 bucks a piece. Get bulbs that are like 5600 to 6500 Kelvin. It'll say on the bulb what the Kelvin rating is. So get that and put that down just as close to your plant as you can get it without actually touching the plant. I'm talking just an inch above the plant, and just raise it up as the plant grows. So that's going to be the key to keeping them from getting too leggy. There's typically, if you have a good, southern window where the light's coming through, maybe will work, but typically no. It's typically not enough light anywhere inside your house. You're going to have to get some kind of lights and put on them. That's exactly what those lights are for, is for growing, my seedlings. So anyway, hopefully that works out for you. Good luck. And, let me know if you have more issues with it. I'll see what I can do to help you with that. Nate says, I have 36 females and have a male in each pen with them and getting 1 egg a day. I feed them 30% game bird starter, and I think my males are off duty. Yeah, let's see, 36 females, 1 male in each pen. And a male in each pen. So I don't know how many males you have with your females, but that doesn't really matter with egg production at all. That just matters if you want fertile eggs. You need 1 rooster for every 5 to 6 hens. Probably 4 to 5 is a better ratio. 1 rooster at every 4 to 5 hens will give you pretty good fertility. But if you're only getting 1 egg a day from them, you said you think your roosters are taking some time off or they're off duty, it's probably lack of light. It seems like everything is related to light, it seems like. But that's the number one thing that determines whether quail will lay consistently or not. They need a good 14 hours a day of light in order to lay consistently. The roosters need that in order to crow, and if they're not crowing, they're not breeding. So you're going to need to get some kind, if you don't have a light already, put some kind of light on them just to extend the daylight. It's that time of year where right now you should be able to get them to lay. I always have a little bit of a hard time, even when I'm providing supplemental light. I have a little bit of a hard time keeping them laying, through from about early December through about mid-January, if they're outside. Those are just the shortest days of the year, and it just seems like it's a little bit difficult to keep them going. But right now, days are starting to get longer. You don't need a super bright light, but you need some kind of light on them to extend that daylight up to 14 hours a day. And it can just come on as the sun starts to go down, stay on for a couple hours, and then go off. As long as you get 14 hours a day, you'll get pretty consistent egg production out of them. That's my guess anyway. If you've got a light on them already and you're getting them 14 hours a day, let me know and we can talk more. And also let me know if they're, like, how old are they? And that would be the biggest things that I would need to know to troubleshoot that further. All right, Sage Wolves from Northeast Ohio. Good to see you. Let's see. Bundy says, hey, from Victoria, Australia. I'm looking after a small farm. We have myxomatosis in the rabbits. I don't know what that is right offhand. It's devastating. No vaccine available here. We have lost the 3 breeders, 4 babies. So sad. Is that in Australia? Is that the disease that they released to try to control the wild rabbit population? I've heard of that. Terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know that by name, so I'm not sure if I'm relating the same things. But either way, sorry to hear about the problems. I wish I had a solution for that one. That's rough. Linda says, no, it was Terry that sent them to me. Okay, sent them to me. Sent you the eggs, right? Is that what we're talking about? Yes, it is. Okay, good. Terry sent you the eggs, and it says, Ivan is helping me type tonight. He jumps ahead at times. Oops. Matu is everyone's second mother. Pastor Lannon. Okay. little lost on some of that, but I'm glad to hear that your eggs are hatching out well. All right, Blessed with Pets, good to see you. Says, hey, so I bred my mini Rex January 19th and still no babies. She was showing many signs of pregnancy. How much longer should I give her? Let's see. January 19th, we're on the 24th, so that's like 30. Is that 30 days? Let me look at the calendar because I can't do that in my head. Let's see. January 19th is when you bred her, so that would be, let's see, there's 7, 14 would be the 2nd, and then 21 would be the 9th, 28, right? Yeah, 28 would be the 16th. Let's see, 28, 29, 30, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're on day like 35 now. I'd give her another 4 or 5 days before I count it out, but it does sound like she may have had a false pregnancy. It's not uncommon, though, for them to go a little bit longer. So give her another 4 or 5 days, and then you can go ahead and count them out. All right. Winston says, Suriname is a country in north of South Africa. And a question, how to add young hens to a flock of quails. Oh, okay. So, yeah, thank you for educating me on that one. I didn't know that, but thanks for joining us all the way from the north of South Africa. That's hard to say, isn't it? Okay, adding young hens to a flock. That is tricky. Let me grab a drink here. Okay, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. When you're talking about young hens, I've had really good success adding birds. Well, let me back up. If you don't know this already, whenever you try to add birds to an existing flock of quail, there's almost always some fighting that goes on, and they're going to probably peck on that bird, pick them apart, and they could actually kill them. I mean, it depends on how aggressive your birds are. A lot of times they'll just get over it. They'll beat the bird up a little bit, and then they'll just get over it, and they're fine. But they will. I mean, they are territorial birds, especially during breeding season. So if the birds are laying eggs, the roosters are crowing, they're going to be much more apt to do that, to bully any newcomers than they would in the off season when they're not breeding, when they're not laying eggs, the roosters aren't crowing. So that's one thing that you can do, is you can kind of, like, reduce the amount of light that they're getting so that they go into their dormant, no, I don't say dormant, non-breeding stage. They stop laying eggs, they stop crowing, and you might have a little bit more luck at that point. Or the other thing you can do, excuse me, I got my nose itching. My grandma always said that meant you're going to get company. But where was I going with that? Oh, another thing that you can do, and I've had really good luck with doing this, is taking birds that are only about 4 to 5 weeks old and putting them in with the existing birds, and almost never have any problems. I've never had a problem with them actually picking on the younger bird. Sometimes, just very, very rarely though, I've only had a few of these happen where the bird finally matures and then they pick on that mature bird. But that hardly ever happens. Most of the time they just accept them right in and they become part of the flock as they mature. So those are a couple of things that you can try. I've also heard of people misting the birds down with vinegar before they introduce them. I don't know why that would work. It doesn't make any sense to me, but people have reported it, so you could try that as well. Hopefully that helps. It's definitely tricky. You know, another thing that I've done in the past when I've got adult birds that I need to combine is just kind of hope for the best and throw them in there, and try to make sure that there's not hugely outnumbered. So you don't want to throw one bird into a flock of 30. But if you can throw, 4 or 5 new birds into a flock of, 7 or 8, then they have a little bit better chance. One of them may still get picked on, but like I said, usually they'll kind of work it out. It doesn't get too bad, and then they get over it and there's no more problems. So those are just a couple of ideas to help that. Everyday Oil Mommy says, will quail lay eggs in 10 to 11 hours of daylight? They may lay eggs, especially when they're young and they first come of age, but they're probably not going to do it consistently. So you might get, like what we were talking about earlier, 30 some odd birds and you're getting 1 egg a day. And usually that's only when they first mature for maybe a month or 2, and then they just shut down completely at that point. You're not going to get good egg production out of those birds if you're not getting them at least 14 hours a day. Art says, hey, Chris, finally built the cage like Terry's got quail. It's been a lot of fun. Awesome. I'm not sure which cage you're talking about. I've seen some of his setups, but I'm not sure what kind of cage he's using right now. So I'd have to check that out, but I'm glad to hear it's working well. Pierre says, or Pierre J. Franklin says, Chris, thanks for the salad video. Really shows how easy it is to grow your own food. Loving the concept. Keep going. Well, thank you very much for watching it. I appreciate that. Yeah, that is pretty simple. I think I'm actually going to switch over to doing a lot of my lettuce that way in the summertime because it frees up garden space. It's just super easy to do. I mean, it's even easier than growing it in the ground because I don't have to water it. It's just super easy. Hey, Katernik's Corners here says, hello, Chris. How are you tonight? Hope all is well. I'm doing well, Terry. We were just talking about you. Hopefully you're doing well as well. And bags of love. Good to see you. Bundy says, yes, it is. What were we talking about? I've completely forgotten now. I know we were talking, but well, whatever it is, good. I think maybe. Oh, it's that disease. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. That's not good. I'm sorry to hear that. Let's see. Katerna's Corner says, laid up with a back injury, so thought I'd check in. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that, Terry. Hopefully you get better soon. Blessed with Pets says also it'll be her first litter. Yeah, sometimes first litters can be a little bit troublesome, but give her a couple more days. If she doesn't have babies, go ahead and try to rebreed her. Tracy says, do you use software to track your rabbits when you have them? No, I don't bother with that. I'm a little bit lazy with tracking, and I only have a couple of rabbits, so it's not a whole lot to keep up with. What I typically use is a piece of masking tape. When I breed them, I just write the date on it, stick it on their feeder so I don't forget, and then peel it off whenever they've had their babies. Well, actually, I usually don't peel it off till the babies are weaned off and moved off, and then I peel it off and start over again. But that's really all the tracking I do for the most part. Nate says, talking to Verna, says it might be a little light. I'm in the country part of Alabama. Oh, it might be the light. I'm in the country part of Alabama. Okay. Yeah, well, if you've got them outside with no extra light on them, Nate, were you the one we were talking to about the bird, about the eggs not? Yeah, okay, good. I'll make sure I'm talking about the right conversation. Yeah, if you've got them outside with no external light on them, then yeah, the days are not 14 hours of light right now. I mean, we're not even in spring yet. So days are starting to get longer, but I think today we got, sunrise was about 6:45 here, and sunset was, well, I mean, it's 7:15 and the sun's already down. So that's, just maybe 12 hours, maybe. I think it was probably closer to about 11 and a half or something. But anyway, all right. I'm going to skip a couple of things while you guys are talking to each other. Justin says, can you put quail with chickens? I've gotten that question a lot, and I don't know. I've never tried to actually put quail with chickens, so I can't say for sure. My thoughts are it wouldn't be a good idea, and it probably wouldn't work very well because chickens are, omnivores, and they can be very carnivorous, and anything that's much smaller than them, they kind of look at as food. So I would think that, they would probably try to eat those quail, depending on how big your chickens are and how small your quail are. But you could try it and see. I don't know. There is a mild concern. There are some diseases that, chickens can carry that doesn't necessarily affect the chicken, but can affect the quail. But I don't know that that's that big of a deal, that big of a concern. So, I mean, try it if you want to, see how it works out, or somebody that's tried that maybe can chime in here and give us some answers. All right, Jasmine's got a question. Would it be worth trying to breed my does that had small litter size or dead on arrival kits to just see if they are for sure done, or would you just count them as done? I still haven't replaced them. Well, good question. It depends on a lot of things. If you, if you still got them, you don't have another line on rabbits right now, then why not go ahead and try again? Then again, if it's been if this has happened multiple times in a row, what I usually do is give them at least twice. And if they're an older rabbit, and I know they're an older rabbit, they've had good success in the past, and then suddenly they start having problems, and it's happened at least two times in a row, then I'll kind of count them out. But usually 2 to 3 strikes is what I give them. So, try at least 2 or 3 times and see if you get the same results every time. Because every once in a while, a rabbit just has an off litter for whatever reason. And I never count them out for just one. I always try at least another time, and usually 2 more times before I count them out completely. I do have a lead on some good Timuck rabbits that I'm hoping to be able to go get in the next week or two. It's about a 2.5-hour drive into Oklahoma. So we'll see how it goes. And I know, Jasmine, you said you've been looking for rabbits too. I had a lead on some that were It's up in up by like Rolla, that area. So it's a little bit further away from me, or otherwise I'd go up there and get them. But those are Tamuk rabbits as well. Good breeding stock. For you, it may not be. It's still a pretty far drive, isn't it? It's probably about 3 hours, 3.5 hours, I think, for you. Whereas for me, it's about 4 to 4.5 hours, something like that. It's not Rolla. It's up that area, up closer to St. Louis. But anyway, so if you need information on that, let me know, and I can probably hook you up with them. I was going to go get rabbits from them, but I found some a little bit closer. So, all right, Blessed with Pets says, just got a 6-week-old Great Pyrenees for my birthday. How would you transition a dog from inside as a pet to outside as a chicken, goat guarding dog? Well, the good thing about Great Pyrenees is they are well adapted to live outside. They're probably going to be much happier outside than they are inside, so that shouldn't be hard to transition. Taking care of your animals or guarding your animals is a pretty natural thing for them. You're just going to have to teach them not to attack your chickens, not to attack your goats. That should be pretty easy. But I mean, they'll guard them once they know not to attack them. You don't have to really worry about the dog guarding them. That's the Great Pyrenees is going to do that naturally. Be prepared though. They are going to bark at everything. I mean, everything. All the time, all night long. That's what they do. My neighbor's got a Great Pyrenees and an Anatolian Shepherd Pyrenees mix, and those dogs bark all night long at everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Leaves falling, a cat going down the road, a rabbit that hops across, a squirrel. I mean, it doesn't matter. Everything. They bark all the time, but that's what they're supposed to do. So, you're not going to have to train them to guard. You're going to have to train them to not attack your chickens. And the easiest thing to do would be start now when it's a puppy. And you said a puppy, right? 6-week-old. Start now with it when it's a puppy. Start, take it out on a leash, introduce it to your other animals. If it starts to act at all aggressive or wants to play with them, like puppies do, they'll want to bounce and play. No. And then give it a toy to play with or something like that. And when it plays with the toy, cheer, good boy, good girl, whatever it is, praise it for playing with the toy. That'll teach it to, hey, I can play with these things. I can't play with the chickens or the goats or whatever. And then just be persistent with it. Every day, you've got to stay on top of it. And the dog will figure it out. All right. Verna says, I just put all my birds in a large sand tote, let them play for about a half hour, and then I put them into a clean cage. Yeah, I bet they enjoyed that. What is going with my focus? What's the deal here? There we go. We're back on focus. I bet they enjoyed that. I need to, I've got to process some birds. I've got too many right now. And one of my hutches, the one that I've got the newest birds in. So if you're looking at my hutches, the one on the right-hand side, the plastic cover that I've got, the 6 mil plastic, I think it is, that I've got stapled over the top of that closed in section with the sandbox. That plastic has pulled away from the staples and pulled back a little bit. So when it rained and whatnot, I got some water in there. And all that sand in there is like hard as a rock. But those are the birds I plan on processing. So it's not that big a deal. I'll process them all. Then I'll clean it all out and replace it with some fresh sand, fix the roof on it. Jasmine says, and would you start with freshly weaned young rabbits or start over with the proven adult breeders? I probably asked this already, but I haven't made a decision yet. Yeah, that's a tough one to make. I'm going to be starting with younger rabbits. They're going to be 10 weeks old or so if I go pick up these rabbits that I've got a lead on. And I'm not worried about doing that. They're Tamuks. So they're a good line. They should be good breeders. I'm taking a little bit of a chance with that, but at the same time, I should be getting a lot more breeding out of them because it's hard to find proven breeder rabbits that are not 4, 5 years old. And at that point, they're just about done. Not many people are selling proven breeder rabbits that have only, 6 months old and had one litter. It's not very often. So, if you can find that, then by all means, go ahead and do that. But I tend to, especially if you're getting like purebred, pedigree rabbits, it's probably not a concern. They're probably going to be a good mother. Not guaranteed, but probably. So I don't mind starting that way. All right. I don't know if that helps you much. I can't say for sure which is the best way, but it's definitely something to consider. It's just kind of depends on how fast you want to get started. And at this point, we're going into spring, so I don't mind getting a young rabbit because by the time it's 6 months old, it'll be breeding season. But different times of year could be different too. Bernie wants to know, can you raw pack quail meat like you can chicken? Yeah, it works pretty much the same way as chicken. Yep, a couple other people are saying yes, you can. Yeah, you should be able to follow any, like you're talking about for canning. You can follow any chicken canning recipe. It's going to be about the same for quail. All right. Patricia says, Patricia here from Virginia. Prayers that Terry feels better soon. Absolutely. Prayers for Terry for sure. Enjoy both of your videos. New at quail keeping and enjoy it. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that you are getting some information out of the videos, that you enjoy them. And I'm glad to hear that you enjoy the quail keeping too. Congratulations on your new birds. While we're asking for prayers, do prayer for my neighbors. They're not actually my neighbors. They're across the street and down on the corner. But they are my sister's in-laws. So they're kind of family, know them pretty well. We're my sister has lots of gatherings and get-togethers. They're always there, even though I hardly ever see them unless I'm at my sister's house. But they do live right across the street from me. Their house caught on fire yesterday, and it looks like it's a total loss. They're older, and I don't believe they have insurance on their home, so they're at a loss right now, and definitely need some prayers. All right. Blessed with Pets says, also, my other rabbit is on her 30th day of pregnancy, and I put a nest box in yesterday, and she is constantly pooping and peeing in the nest box. How do I fix it? It sounds like if she is not, hay stashing and pulling straw and building a nest, she may not be pregnant either. So, what I would do is not put the nest box in until you see that nesting behavior. Just go in, every day, at least once a day, maybe twice, once in the morning, once at night. Throw a handful of straw in there. When she picks it up, starts carrying it around in her mouth, it'll be real obvious what she's doing. Then put the nest box in. Otherwise, don't worry about it. But my guess would be she's not pregnant either if she's on her 30th day and still not nesting. But, give her a couple more days and see. All right. Katrina from Gilroy, California. Good to see you. Blessed with Pets says, I love how you have a Pepsi in every live stream. Yeah, don't follow my example, though. It's terribly bad for you. It's where I get all this weight from. I have lost teeth because of it. It's probably mostly the soda that causes that. But I am a soda pop junkie. One of my negative, bad traits, I guess it is addicted to soda. All right, Little Ridge Farm says, question, do you use laying cages for all your quail besides the chicks? No, I just have hutches. I just have 2 big hutches. All my birds go in those hutches. I do tend to have one that's more dedicated to my breeders, but they're not laying cages. I'll have like a dozen breeders in there. It's just a big colony type setup for them, or a flock type setup, or covey, I guess is what you would call it with quail, right? It's a covey of quail. Anyway, it's just, a dozen or so breeders in one hutch, and then I tend to use the other one for kind of a grow out pen. But I don't have layer cages, no. Katrina says, I have 64 baby quail in the new brooder. One took more than 2 whole days to hatch, and it's doing great. No curled feet or anything. Good. Because that's often what happens with those birds that hatch a little bit late is splayed leg or curled up toes, or some kind of issue, wry neck, that kind of thing. That's usually related to a temperature issue if it takes a very long time for them to hatch. But so, if you're having that issue on a regular basis, then, get a couple of thermometers, calibrate them, make sure they're accurate, throw them in your incubator and run it for a little while and see if your incubator may be reading temperature just a little bit off. Then you can make adjustments for your next hatch. Brandon, good to see you, says, good evening, boss. How are you doing tonight? Good. Good evening to all the quail and rabbit family. I'm doing well. Hopefully you guys are too. Let's see where we are. Bernie says, where's a good place to buy quail? Near Plato, Missouri? I don't know. If you're looking for live birds, I don't know. I don't live near Plato, Missouri, so I couldn't tell you for sure. Check Craigslist. There's probably somebody around locally that's going to be selling them. That would be a good place to do that. But if you want eggs, then, Terry from Katernick's Corner is here. They sell eggs. Brandon from Whiskey Tango Farms is here. They'll ship you eggs. My Shire Farm's a great supplier of eggs. So there's a couple of places right there where you can order eggs to actually incubate your own quail. But if you're looking for live birds, you're going to probably have to check like Craigslist or something like that. Brandon says, we're getting 2 inches of snow tonight. Yay. Yeah, it's probably the same system that came through here and dumped. Well, maybe not. I think that went a little bit more east, but it dumped a bunch of sleet and ice on us. But 12 Gauge says, hey, Chris and all from Mountain View, Arkansas, still iced in here and got about 2 inches of solid sleet and ice yesterday, and it's sticking around. Yeah, you got a little bit more than we did, I think. I think we got about a 1/4 inch of sleet, maybe up to a 1/2 inch, but I think it was a 1/4 inch or so of sleet yesterday. Didn't really have ice. It was more, I mean, it was ice, but it was coming down in the form of sleet. It wasn't freezing rain that like sticks to the power lines and the trees and all that. It did cover all the roads, but anyway. All right. How we doing on time? About halfway through already. Boy, it flies, doesn't it? Kramer Family Channel says, have you ever had a litter die one by one of respiratory issues? I have one litter that's been doing this, but it's strange because all the other kits are fine. It's just the one cage. The mom isn't sick and the kits are 3 weeks old. Okay, you're talking about rabbits. I've never had that actually happen, but respiratory issues are definitely a concern with rabbits. It sounds like it could be snuffles. It could be, there's a couple of things. It could be Pasteurella, which I think is the same thing as snuffles actually. But either way, what I would do is isolate them from the rest of your rabbits, the mother and the kits for sure, because whatever they have could be contagious and could be passed on to the other rabbits. To know for sure, you'd probably have to take them to a vet to get them tested and see what it is to know for sure. But hopefully it's just, who knows, bad luck for whatever reason. And that's it. You just never have the problem again. But I would isolate them at least 30 days from the rest of your rabbits. The thing is your baby rabbits are going to be much more sensitive to that to the adults. So, and you're saying that even the mother is fine. Well, she may have it. She just may not be showing the symptoms of it yet. It's good to get them away from all your other rabbits to make sure it's not passed on to anything else. I wish I could, give you the magic cure, but I just don't know what it is exactly to know how to cure it. So, and even if I did know what it was, I don't know if I'd be able to know the exact cure for it. Jasmine says, okay, good advice. Thanks, Chris. And exciting about the Tamucks. Yes, Rolla is 3+ hours, but I may go that route since I haven't found the American blues I want. Well, reach out to me if you need. I can give you some contacts with somebody that does have some Tamuck rabbits up around that area. Where did we go? There we go. Jennifer says, my son thought we had $2. His 7 and 5-year-olds went out to feed today and came running back in saying there were rats in the hutch. There were 3 kids. He did not pay attention in health class. Yeah, it could be tricky actually to know for sure sometimes, especially if you're not real experienced. It's not that uncommon to mistake one for another. Of course, when they get to be adults, it's a lot easier to tell. The males kind of stand out for sure, but it happens. So now I guess. Let's see. Brandon says, our creme d'argent, I think it is. I always have a hard time with that. Croissant said he lifted for us. We're excited to get some kits from her. Awesome. Good luck with that. I hope it goes well. And then we got Cali Quail Keepers from Northern California. Hello to you. Let's see. Katrina, I need to weigh my grow out rabbits. They will likely be a harvest weight this weekend or next weekend. I have a hopper popper that came with my breeders. This will be my first rabbit harvest. Well, good luck. I hope it goes well. Don't overthink it. I'm sure you're going to do just fine with it. On a side note, I never weigh my rabbits. I just look at them and kind of, it looks big enough. But it's not bad practice if you want to weigh them. My point is they don't necessarily have to be 5 pounds. If they look big enough to you, they're big enough to go ahead and process. But if you want to weigh them out just to make sure, because it's your first time and you're not sure what 5 pounds looks like, then go for it. You'll probably get a hang of it pretty quick, be able to just eyeball them and tell when they're big enough. Good luck though. I hope it all goes well. Let's see. Verna says, hey, Brooke. Okay. Not talking to me. You guys aren't talking to me either. I'll skip those. Jasmine says, to somebody else. We'll let that go. Bernie says, are Tamucks better for meat than silver fox? I don't know that they're any better for meat than silver fox. They are, Tamucks were developed by the Texas A&M University. They're New Zealand white, but they're bred specifically to be more heat tolerant than some of the other rabbits. And we'll see if that holds true. but they are a New Zealand white rabbit. They're not necessarily better than a silver fox for meat. There are some things about them that some people might like better. Some people really like the silver foxes better too. So it's really just a matter of personal taste. Blessed with Pets says, mine's are purebred Great Pyrenees. Mine's a purebred Great Pyrenees, and she's currently sleeping in my bed at night. She tries to play with the cats, but I don't let her because I'm allergic to the cats. And we just bought chickens too. Yeah, she's good. I mean, she's a puppy. She's going to want to play with everything. You just got to teach her what she can and can't play with. Where we at? Blessed with Pets says days ago, and I'm letting them. Oh, we just bought chickens 2 days ago, and I'm letting them settle in so I can train her. Yeah, don't wait too long. I mean, get on it pretty soon. And like I said, put her on a leash so you can control her. You don't let her get too close to them or anything. But Cali Quail Keeper says, I'm so excited about my 11-week-old giant chinchillas. I bought one doe and one buck, not breeding together, and 3 months to go before breeding. Yeah, I do like the giant chinchillas too. They were the one I had was a pretty good rabbit, and they make the most adorable baby rabbits. It's hard to eat them, but that's what I'm breeding for is meat, so I do. But yeah, it's a little bit tough. Blessed with Pets says, also, should I build a fence for her out of horse panels? I wish she could just come inside to sleep, but it's not ideal because it would be hard to keep her clean. It's going to be hard to keep her clean, and she's going to be a very large dog, and chances are she's more comfortable to be outside anyway. Even when it's pretty cold out, they tend to be more comfortable outside. Yes, if you don't have a fence, it's probably a good idea to build a fence unless you just live out in the country, where you can just let her roam. She probably won't go far. If you live out in the country, you can train her to keep her right there. I mean, I've never had, I've lived in the city. I always have fences for my dogs to keep them in the yard. But my grandparents, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents when I was a kid. They lived out in the country, and we never had fences for those dogs. They just don't go anywhere. They stay right there at the house. They might roam a little bit around the property, but not far. And they'll come back because that's where their food is. All right. Katrina says, sorry to hear about the house fire. That sucks. I hope they can deal with that well, especially with being older. Yeah, I do too. Absolutely. It was, I know it's devastating because they've lived in that house for a very long time. It's where they raised their kids. My brother-in-law that's married to my sister. It's rough for sure. Where are we at here? Josh says, hey, from upstate New York. I used to be hooked on soda too. Now I just drink an unhealthy amount of coffee. Yeah, I don't drink any coffee, so I guess there's that. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. 12 Gauge says, I'm a Coca-holic. Pepsi is way too sweet for my taste. I can't really tell much of a difference, actually. They seem to be about the same to me. I'm not really that picky. Biblical Journey says, hello, Brother Chris. Hello to you, too. And where are we at here? Todd says, hey, Chris from Crete, Illinois, arriving a little late with what were the 3 additives you used for your hydroponic bins? Oh, so it's Master Blend. Master Blend's a fertilizer. It's a brand name of a fertilizer, but Master Blend, calcium nitrate, there we go, and Epsom salt. Those are the 3 things. And you're going to put them in, it's like 12 grams to 5 gallons. Yeah, 12 grams to 5 gallons of Master Blend and calcium nitrate, and then half of that much of the Epsom salt, I believe. But, look at the instructions. It'll tell you exactly how to mix it. I've got it in my Amazon shop. So if you want to, if you go to my Amazon shop, you can see all the products that I recommend. That's one of them that's in there. So you can buy directly from that link if you need to buy all that stuff together. It's not a bad deal. It's like $30, $35, which seems a little high, but you get a lot of it. I mean, it's not, do I still have it up here? I don't have it up here. I'd show you, but I mean, it doesn't look like a lot when you get it. You think this is all I get, but you're only using, a couple tablespoons of it for each, for 5 gallons. So it goes a long way. Nate says, Chris, any good idea on extra lighting? Have your brand come out yet? Oh, no, I'm trying to get that thing going. I need to reach back out to him again. I've talked about that. I'm just having a hard time, especially now. The supply chains are falling apart, and I don't know what's going to happen with that. I may end up having to get a refund and refund everybody that prepaid their money. As far as extra lighting, though, you don't have to go with, I mean, if you've got power that runs out there, just get any light and put it out there. Christmas lights on a string. I mean, anything's going to work. I have used solar shed lights from Harbor Freight. They come on automatically at dusk and they just stay on until the battery runs out, which can be a long time, maybe a little longer than you want it to, but it works. So there's a lot of different things you can do. It doesn't have to be anything real special. All right, Blessed with Pets says, how would two separate pairs not be successful breeding? I'm thinking of losing hope here. This is strike 2 at breeding my 2 does. I hope they have some babies because my parents won't let me buy any more. Sometimes it just happens, especially if they're younger does and first-time does, and especially if they're overweight. Make sure you're not overfeeding them either. That could be something that could hinder their ability to get pregnant. And then just try again. Don't stress about it. It's going to work out eventually. Just keep trying. You'll get it down. I keep scrolling and the screen jumps. Sorry, give me a second here. There we go. Caught back up. Callie says, I sold my first rabbit kits to 2 young brothers for pets, 1 black and 1 white. So cute. So were the young brothers black and white, or were the rabbits black and white? I don't guess it really matters, but I'm not sure which one you're saying is cute and which one you're saying is not cute. I don't know how to read that all, but either way, I'm glad that you found a home for them. I'm glad that those brothers are getting some nice pets, and hopefully they do well. 12 Gauge says thumbs up for Chris, folks. Well, thank you very much. Back in Black Kennels, hello to you. Biblical Journey says, Brother Chris, I need to reach out to you in private. Can I message you? Yeah, the best way is probably going to be to shoot me an email. In fact, let me do something here real quick. This is not what I wanted to do, is it? I think it is. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to. There we go. Sorry, give me just 1 minute. I just realized for some reason, I just said the best thing to do is to email me, and I realized I've told some other people that, and I haven't gotten any email. I used to have all my email get pushed through to my phone or to my other email, so I'd know I got it because it's a web-based mail. I have to go check it manually, and I haven't gotten any email for a long time, so I just went in and checked, and it looks like some people have emailed me, so I need to get on it. But yeah, the best way is probably going to be to email me. I get so many instant messages and all those things. I typically don't respond to them because it's just too many. I can't keep up with them, and it's easy to get lost in there. So shoot me an email if you want to, chris@slightlyrednecked.com, and I'll see what I can do to respond to you there. I wish, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not trying to be snobby or anything like that. I wish I could interact with all of you, just call you up on the phone and we just chat for a little while, but I just can't. I can't do it. I've got a full-time job, and I just can't keep up. So I have to kind of be selective. All right. Who's that? E36M. I don't know the whole name, if there's something else to that, but anyway, it says quail versus chicken, which is best? It depends on what your goals are, where you live. It just depends. In a lot of ways, I think quail are best because, especially if you live in town or something like that, because it's just so easy. You can keep them in a hutch. Nobody even knows you have them, and you can ramp your numbers up incredibly fast. You hatch out in 14 days and they're fully mature at 8 weeks old. So, it's really quick, easy turnaround right there. But chickens have their place too. I always do a run of meat chickens in the spring. I can't tell you one's better than the other necessarily. It just depends on what you want. Todd says, to Verna, I'll let you guys talk. Katrina says, I need to know what 5 pounds looks like. Yeah, I know. I get that. I don't know if, I don't ever really weigh my rabbits, so I don't know that they're getting to exactly 5 pounds, but you'll get a hang of it pretty quick. You'll figure out it's about right size, and then you don't have to worry about weighing them every time. But there's nothing wrong with weighing them. If you want to weigh them, do it. All Things EDC says, hey, I'm going to get some chickens soon. Have you experience with bantam chickens? No, I don't. The only chickens I've actually raised are Cornish cross, and just for 8-9 weeks to get them up to size and process them and put them in the freezer. I do have some experience with laying hens and things like that, but not like personally. I haven't kept them, so it's been secondhand experience, I guess. All right, Cali Quail Keeper says, Verna and I survived the Balut Challenge. Check out the videos on our channels. Join us next time. Yeah, I don't know if I'll join in on that challenge or not, but I'll go check out the videos for sure. Verna says, quail you can have in cages, 3 per square feet. Chickens need 10 feet each. Well, there you go. There's that too. Art says, Chris, which quail are the biggest? Jumbo quail are the biggest. I know that's a smart aleck answer, but yeah, jumbo pharaohs probably are your best bet if you're just looking for the biggest birds. There are jumbos in other colors too, though. I like the jumbo pharaohs because they're just easy to vent sex. They're just they're just the standard meat bird, when you're looking for meat. So, but yeah, that would be the ones I would go with. And greetings from Costa Mesa, California. I bet it's nice there. I bet it's not icy and snowy. Let's see. I got other people talking to each other. I'm going to skip over those. All right. E36 says, E36M says, nice. I love dark meat turkey. All right, then. Going to try some quail then. I prefer dark meat myself. Yeah. So I guess there was a conversation about, I must have missed your comment. I'm sorry if I did. But yes, quail are all dark meat. I don't know that I wouldn't consider it similar to dark meat turkey. They are very lean, very lean. But I guess it's kind of like dark meat turkey. Chances are, if you like dark meat, you're going to like quail. Almost everybody likes quail. I don't know of anybody that I've introduced it to that didn't like it. They almost always like it. I hesitate to say this, but to me, it has just a very slight hint of like liver, just a very minerally kind of taste to it. Not very, it's not super strong. It's very, very faint. And like I said, almost everybody I've introduced it to really likes it. So I don't ever tell them it tastes a little bit like liver. I really like liver, but not everybody does. So I always, don't want to tell them that necessarily, but it does have kind of that earthy, kind of minerally taste to it, but it's pretty good. Blessed with Pets says, we live on hundreds of acres, but we live at the edge. And if we share the land, with family members, my last dog was a female lab, and she wandered off to the neighbors and got shot for messing with their chickens. I was so sad. Oh, that is rough. Yeah. If you've got, you don't really live out in the country then. If you've got neighbors that you have to keep the dog away from, unless you're talking they're like ways away and way away, you're going to have to make that decision yourself. Again, train her very quickly as you can to not mess with the chickens. That'll help keep that from happening. And then, train her to stay on the property the best you can too. Chances are she will want to wander a little, but it shouldn't be far. I don't know that it'd be a big deal. Talk to your neighbors, let them know you got a new dog and to call you if she gets over there. And if you have a problem with her going over there, build a fence to put her in, because I don't know that I don't know if cattle panels will work. This is a big dog. They might, who knows? You might have to, if you're going to do something like that with cattle panels, especially if it's not an extremely sturdy fence, you may have to run some electric wire around it as well and train her to that electric wire to keep her from trying to jump over the fence or knock it down if she's apt to do that. All right. Let's see. Josh says, Chris, I saw the other day that you were growing in an arrow garden. Have you ever had an issue with nutrient lockout? I'm trying to figure out why my peppers won't grow. No, I haven't. And actually, I've only had the arrow garden for a short while, and I'm not growing peppers in it. I'm growing greens, and I'm growing herbs, basil and dill and parsley, that kind of thing. But I haven't had any issues with it. They're all doing really, really well. My guess is that if you're trying to grow peppers in it, it may not be, maybe it's too cold right now. Peppers like heat. So if it's very chilly at all, they're going to have a hard time germinating. They're going to grow a little bit slower. So that may be one of the problems. That's the only thing I can think of right off the top of my head. I mean, assuming you're not overfeeding them with nutrients, that's the thing that comes to mind. And Blessed with Pets says that's why we got a dog that protects chickens and goats. Yeah, you are going to have to, like I said, you're going to have to train that dog to not go after chickens, though, because it's just they will. I mean, they will protect them for sure once they realize that they're not a play toy, they're not something to go after. But if you don't train them, then yeah, they're going to want to play with them too, and they can't do that. Biblical Journeys wants to know my email address. I think I just gave it to you if you didn't get it. It's chris@slightlyrednecked.com. Little Ridge Farm says no, but it is New York. Okay, I don't know what that means, but hey, Jay for life, I'm doing well. Hopefully you are too. Boris, you're late again. You shouldn't tell me that. I'm going to have to start keeping attendance. And anyway, I'm kidding. Thanks for joining either way. Got a couple people talking to each other. Little Ridge Farm says, I can't wait to get my building and cages ready for the quail. I hope it works out well. Blessed with Pets says she wandered 4 miles away to the neighbors. 4 miles, that's a long way for the dog to wander. So I would find that surprising. I've never seen a dog that lives in the country go 4 miles away. But anyway. Blessed with Pets says, I would only have her in a fence as a puppy. Also, how do I know if I'm overfeeding my rabbits? I feed Purina pellets with Timothy hay. So, most rabbits are going to take, assuming these are, 10-pound rabbits or whatever, you're looking at probably about 8 ounces of feed a day. Feed them just enough that they'll clean it all up within 24 hours, and they're a little bit hungry when you go to feed them again. So you don't want them if you go to feed them the next morning and they just dive into their food and just gobble it as fast as they can, maybe you need to give them just a little bit more. But if you go to feed them the next morning, you dump all the food in there and they're just not at all interested in it, you're probably overfeeding them just a little bit. Especially if there's feed left over the next morning when you go to feed them, then you're overfeeding them. Try to keep it just enough to where they'll clean it up within 24 hours. All right, Katrina says, I got a green stalk so I can plant peppers in it, transplant from starts, and roll it into my screened-in porch for the winter. They take so long to grow and produce. I'm hoping that this will get a jump start. Well, good luck. I hope it does too. Peppers do take a while. So do tomatoes. That's one of the reasons why we start them from seed early, because most people just don't have the growing season to grow them out to production, or they're just getting to production by the time the frost starts hitting. So yeah, that should help them get a jump start. Hope it works. John says, one of my rabbits was killed by the others. I hope on accident crushed its spine under a piece of wood. I found it twitching, pinned, and processed it. Kid's meal, I guess. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, John. Yeah, it probably was accidental. Rabbits are not usually that aggressive unless they're like the Monty Python rabbit or something, but that's not really a thing. So hopefully it is a one-time thing. Sorry to hear it. Little Ridge wants to know if it's okay to raise rabbits and quail in the same area. I have seen some people do it. And when you say the same area, do you mean like a big colony setting where they're just running free together? I've seen people do it. So, I guess it would work out well. I personally like to kind of keep my rabbits caged up. I don't want to let them just roam in a colony style setting, but that's just my opinion. So yeah. And if you're talking about just keeping the cages like in the same building or something, yeah, that should be fine. The only thing you may have to worry about is that quail do produce a lot of dust, and rabbits can be kind of sensitive to that. So you make sure you have good ventilation. As long as you have good ventilation, shouldn't be a big deal. You should be fine. All right, I feel like I'm yelling at you guys. Am I talking too loud? Somebody let me know. Of course, we'll probably be done with this by the time I read your comment. You're letting me know. But either way, let me know if I'm talking too loud. All right, Josh. I don't think it's the heat. It's low 70s in that room. I did dump the reservoir last night and set it up with fresh nutrients, but I started them in early January and there's almost no growth. Yeah, you may be right. Maybe it's not the heat. I'm not sure. I've never tried to grow peppers in a arrow garden before. So you're saying almost no growth. So that means they've sprouted, but just haven't grown much. And you started them in early January. Yeah, they should be going pretty good by now. So I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that one. Maybe what you did there is dumping it out, cleaning it out, starting over with the nutrients. Maybe that's the right thing to do. Hopefully it works. Jasmine says, great conversations tonight. Thanks for your time, Chris. It's always great to learn in this space. Got to head out. I will reach out about those rabbit resources. Thanks again and good night. Well, thank you, and you have a good night too. Let's see. Tracy says, hi from Toronto. Good to see you. No, that's not Tracy. It's Tony. I read that completely wrong. Good to see you either way. Thank you for joining. Blessed with Pets says mini Rex rabbits, and they're all over a year, but less than 2 years. Mini Rex rabbits, you're going to want to go with a little bit less feed than that for sure. And they're always hungry when you go to feed them. Well, it doesn't sound like they're overfed then. I'd say just try again, see if it works. That's about all you can do anyway. Hello to you, Joy. Good to see you. Art says it's 40 degrees Fahrenheit and too cold for quail. No. I've had them in, let's see, as cold as I've had them here, -5, -10 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. Not including the wind chill, just the temperature of -5 degrees or somewhere around in there. And I know people that have had them lots colder than that. They're incredibly cold hardy. Don't worry at all about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And Blessed with Pets says, do you think I could just feed unlimited Timothy hay? Not the best practice. They really need a good quality rabbit pellet. You can feed them nothing but pellets. You don't have to feed them hay. But feeding just hay is going to be hard for them to get everything they need out of the diet. They really need some good quality pellets. And Verna says, Chris, my sweet potato slips are growing like crazy. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I hope it works well. I hope they continue to grow like crazy. King Polo says it's nice to listen to show. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Where we at here? Got to go to the next. We got a bunch of people talking to each other. So, all right. Little Ridge Farm says it is okay. We all need yelled at sometime. LOL. You're fine. Good. I always want to make sure my volume's good. I'm not talking too loud or too quiet. I have a tendency. I spent many years as a trainer, which is kind of almost like a public speaking kind of thing and doing conference calls and all those things. So I have a tendency to just project loud. And I don't know, sometimes I'm too loud, I think. Verna says, Chris, Arrow Gardens grow stumpy tomatoes and peppers smaller than you would grow yourself. Interesting. Huh. I don't know. I mean, some of that may be the variety that you're growing too. I don't know. I just can't answer that question about them growing small, but who knows? Josh says, I usually start all my peppers in the Arrow Garden with the seed starting deck, so this is unusual. I'm going to try that out this year. Try my tomatoes and my peppers, getting them started with the seed starting deck, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully better than what yours did, huh? But I'm sorry you're having problems. And you say they've grown not much at all. If they've grown any at all, are they ready to go ahead and transplant? Maybe you just need to go ahead and transplant them into some, some good potting soil. All right, Katernik's Corner, good night to you too. Have a good evening. Little Ridge says, YouTube vid's coming as soon as I'm ready. Yeah, go for it. And good luck with your channel. I hope it works well. Jennifer says, Chris, when's a good time to start carrots, turnips, and beets? I'm in zone 8B. Oh, I don't know exactly when zone 8B. Carrots are fairly cold tolerant, so you can start them a lot earlier. I think beets are too. I'm not really, I haven't really grown beets or turnips, so I'd have to look into that and see what it is. If you're looking for a calendar, go to like Johnny's Select Seeds, and that's going to be a good place. Now, all of those things, carrots, turnips, and beets, those are all root vegetables. So you're going to want to be starting them directly in the ground. You're not going to want to start them in pots inside and then transplant them out. They're probably going to do much better. At least I think. You might be able to transplant turnips and beets. I don't know. But my guess is they need to be planted direct sow. So it's probably going to be like after your last frost, like a week after your last frost or something like that, because I believe they're all pretty cold hardy. But if you look up a planting calendar at Johnny's Seeds, I think it's Johnny's Seeds. Let me do a search for that real quick. Johnny's Seed planting calendar. Yeah, there's a planting calculator there, I think. Where is it? Yeah, you do a search for it. There it is. I found it. Yeah. Do a search for it. You basically go on there, put in your zip code, and or you enter the date of your last frost date. If you don't know your last frost date, then do a Google search for your area and figure out what your average last frost date is. Put that date in there, and then it gives you an entire like everything. So like around here, let's see. I'll put it in for mine. My average last frost date is 4-15. Whoops. There we go. I'll just pick it from the 415. Enter it, and what it says for carrots is going to be, where are the carrots on here? If I can spell carrot right. Does it not have carrots? Just told you to go there and find carrots. Let's see if I can find beets. I don't find beets either. Anyway, it's got a whole bunch of stuff on there, and apparently it does not have your carrots, or does it have turnips? Maybe I just gave you a bad resource. It used to be a great calculator or calendar, but I don't have time to search for it too much. But yeah, when you buy seeds, it should tell you on the package when to plant them. It'll say like, a week after your last frost date, or maybe a week or two before. Probably with most of those are probably going to be as soon as the ground can be worked. So if you live in an area, let's see, I can't remember which direction for me 8B is. Is that warmer or is that cooler? Because I'm like in 6B, 6A, I think it is. No, 6B, I think. So I don't remember if 8 goes north or 8 goes south. But anyway, if you're in a warmer climate, probably now is the time to go ahead and plant them. If you're in a cooler climate, you're going to have to wait till the ground thaws out. I'm sorry, I can't give you the exact answer on that one. John says, I'm hard of hearing, but I hear you fine. I like the volume perfect. Well, good. Thank you. How are we doing on time? Oh, it's time to wrap this one up, isn't it? Let's see. Blessed with Pets. See if I can get through one or two more of these before I cut this one off tonight. Blessed with Pets says, also feeding them apples and carrots and romaine 2 times a week affect them or make them overweight. If you go too heavy on that stuff, yeah, for sure it will. But you're saying you're feeding them 2 times a week. Do that in small amounts. That should be treats, not part of their regular diet. Especially apples and carrots. Those are really high in sugar. Josh says, I think I'll transplant them into something that's a good idea. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, hopefully it works. That's just my guess on what to do. Katrina, thanks for all the great information, Chris, and the great conversation. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Bernie, you have a blessed night as well. All right. So 12 gauge likes the shirt. Thanks. What shirt am I wearing? Oh, yeah. I can look right here and see it, can't I? Yeah, that's one of my favorite shirts for sure. And no, I don't grind my feed. I use a crumble feed and it works just fine. So don't worry about grinding it. Never grind it. Day-old chicks can eat it. It's fine. All right, we got to wrap this one up tonight. Thank you guys for joining me. Next week, I don't know if I'll be able to make it next week or not. At this point, I think I can, but I got a client visit next week, and you never know when we're going to get, going to go out to dinner or something like that with the clients. So work may keep me tied up next week. I may not make it next week, but I'll try. Thanks for joining tonight. We will hopefully see you guys next week. If not, it'll be the week after. And as always, God bless and good night.